Welcome back to Traveling Dice. This is Jason. We have Game 6 of our Escalation campaign for you today, the 1,000-point round. Just as a reminder, in this Escalation campaign, both of us started at 500 points. We're playing a series of 11 battles, in which in each round we increase by 100 points. You may also swap out up to 20% of your army. So my army of Orcs and Goblins here for this 1,000-point round is shown here. I have added the following models. So I'm adding 2 Black Orcs to the Black Orc unit. One is a musician and one is a champion. I'm adding the Standard Bearer to the Savage Orc unit, also increasing that unit by 1. And I'm adding 1 more single additional troll. So in my army, I have my unit of 12, now 13 Savage Orcs, single troll, block of 26 Night Goblin Spearmen. The BSB is in there with Great Weapon and Armor of Destiny getting before board. My Fighting Lord is also in there. He has the Talisman of Preservation, 4 board, and a Great Weapon. My level 1 Shaman is in that unit as well. He has the Ruby Ring of Ruin and a Dispel Scroll. The Doom Diver, another single troll, so 3 single trolls in total. The Goblin Wolf Chariot and the Black Orcs. Those will now be 12 strong with the Standard and the Musician. Going over to my opponent's list, he has a unit of 5 Treekin with a champion. He has the Tree Man, a unit of 10 Archers with a champion and True Flight Arrows, a unit of 13 Dryads with a champion. He has dropped his level 2 and replaced him with a level 4. Level 4 Wizard on life. Look out. And he has Awakening in the Woods, Shield of Thorns, Regrowth, and Dwellers Below. So yeah, that guy is the real deal. He also has a bow. He'll be going in with the archers, obviously. We'll be playing with the following pieces of terrain. We have 2 hills, the Charnel Pit, piece of Impassable, a Mysterious Forest, and the Wood Elf player will be able to place 1 regular forest in his deployment zone. Just as a reminder, in this campaign, each victory will yield the victorious player 50 bonus points for the final match, and the final match will determine the winner of the campaign. The standings stand right now: 3 victories for the Orcs and Goblins and 2 victories for the Wood Elves. And we'll see you after deployment. We just finished up deployment here. We don't deliberately only deploy on one side. It just has kind of worked out that way. But my opponent has his archers there in the forest. And he has a nice battle line. The Dryads, the Tree Men, and the Treekin. The Treekin are in about his center. In the center there we have the Impassable on top of a hill. And then directly across from the Treekin, I have my Black Orcs in front of the Charnel Pit. I put the Doom Diver next to the Charnel Pit. I figured the -1 leadership shouldn't bother them too much, and they'll get Region 6. Or no, actually, it's only undead. Or maybe I shouldn't have done that. Oh well. Next to the Black Orcs, I have the Chariot, single troll, which is directly across from the Tree Man. Next to the troll, I have my block of Night Goblins with my characters, the 2 trolls next to them, and then on my left flank here I have the 11 Savage Orcs, pretty much directly across from those archers. Yum yum. Alright, my opponent won the roll to go first, so we'll go to top of turn 1. We just finished up the top of turn 1. The Wood Elf player has moved his battle line up the full 10-inch march on the Dryads, the Tree Man, and the Treekin. The archers also moved up for purposes of range. And we went over to the magic phase, and my opponent rolled 4 for the Winds of Magic, a 3 and a 1. He threw all 4 dice at Dwellers Below, targeting my general's unit, and he got double 6s. Went off irresistibly and forcing a miscast. So this is really bad. Fortunately, all my characters passed a strength check. Can't say the same for the Goblins, though. I end up losing 13 Goblins. One of them is the unit champion. My opponent rolls his miscast result, and he loses D3 wizard levels. He loses Dwellers Below and Awakening of the Woods, and he is down to a level 2. During the shooting phase, another 2 goblins get killed. This unit does pass their panic test, so we're over to the bottom of turn 1. We just finished up the bottom of turn 1. It's action-packed here. The Night Goblins go and roll a 1 for animosity and then roll a 6, which is Will Show 'em. They're going to make a non-march move forward towards the closest unit, which happens to be that tree man, and they must charge him during their turn, which I complete that charge. Having completed that charge, I feel like I should declare some other charges. I send the Goblin Wolf Chariot and this Troll in on the Treekin. Unfortunately, the Troll needed a 10. He didn't make it. The Chariot makes it in on the Treekin. The Fanatic gets released on the Goblin's way in towards the Dryads. I advance forward the 2 Trolls. The Savage Orcs are flying up that left flank, seeing those archers, yum yum. And the Black Orcs are coming in, thinking the Chariot's probably not going to get that job done, which makes sense. We go over to the magic phase. I'm looking at my spells, and they're just not super helpful in this situation. I have the Ruby Ring of Ruin, which I can't use. And I have Night Shroud, which doesn't seem even like it's worth attempting to cast and risking the miscast. So I just skip the magic phase. Shooting phase, the Doom Diver targets their favorite target, which is Glade Guard. I get a hit, only kill one of those guys. I roll a 1 for the D6 number of hits. We go over to the combat with the Chariot and the Treekin. The Chariot does put a wound through. I roll a 2 for the impact hit, so it brings it up to 3 with the Scythe Wills, but it's not enough to get it done, and the Tree can just kill that guy. Going into the combat with the Tree Man, and the Tree Man, he only kills 2 of my Night Goblins with his attacks, which is great. I'm feeling really good at that point. And all my attacks are not getting through the Tree Man's toughness until I get to my Lord level character with his great weapon, and he just goes off. He puts 2 wounds on that guy, which is just amazing. And I'm feeling really good at that point. But then we roll the Thunderstomp, and my opponent rolls a 6. And he wounds with all 6 of those things and just massacres my unit. Fortunately, I am still steadfast because I have a full front rank of 5 guys. So they do hold, and we'll see if my Lord's able to chop that tree down. Going over to the top of turn 2. We just finished up the top of turn 2. The Dryads charged in on the combat over there, which was there at the time to help out that tree man. The Treekin charged the Black Orcs. And we go over to my opponent's magic phase. He rolls, I think it was a total of 6 power dice. And I'm thinking I'm using my scroll for sure because I don't think that shaman's going to live to see another round. So I'm able to shut down his magic between my scroll and my dice. So no spells, get off. The archers decide that they don't like those Savage Orcs bearing down on them, and they go and kill 2 of those guys. So, you know, not ideal, but it happens. We go over to the combat with the Tree Man, and yeah, the Tree Man just, with the Dryads don't actually, I think they kill 1 Night Goblin, and the Tree Man does a couple points, and then rolls 6 again for the Thunderstomp. Just devastating. The only guys that are left alive at the end of that combat are my BSB and my Lord. My Lord was super hot the first round, but apparently he gave it his all that first round and had nothing left. I end up getting broken, so although the BSB wasn't killed in combat, he does not flee standards in 8th edition, just die when your unit breaks. And my general's off running away, and the Tree Man's chasing him. We go over here to the combat, which was in this vicinity here. And the Treekin just are struggling to hit these Black Orcs, which is great. They only killed 2 Black Orcs, even with the stomps. And then the Black Orcs managed to put 2 wounds on the Treekin. I went with Great Weapon. I thought that would give me Strength 7, only needing 2s to wound, which is great. I end up winning that combat by 1, and the Treekin roll an 11 for the break test. Unfortunately, I don't catch him, but it is going to be my turn, so I'll have an opportunity to charge them again. So yeah, we'll clear the dead and go over to the bottom of turn 2. We just finished up the bottom of turn 2. Really interesting game going on here. The Savage Orcs had a choice to make. Do we charge the archers or do we charge the Dryads? I needed a 9 to charge those archers, and I felt like it was worth the risk. The Dryads were only requiring a 5 to charge them, so almost a guaranteed charge there, but I just felt that the risk reward was too great, and that it was worth attempting to charge the archers. And I go and roll that charge distance, and I end up with an 8. These guys just are developing a habit of coming up just 1 short, and Not only that, but my opponent gets to stand and shoot and kills 3 of my guys. So I lost 3 guys, accomplishing nothing, and at least the Dryads won't be able to charge me in the flank because that troll stupidly stumbled forward. So, way to go, troll. The Black Orcs charged the treekin. I was hoping that maybe I would be able to run them down, but those are some fast trees, and these are some slow Black Orcs. So there's that. All of the trolls failed their checks for stupidity, not surprising, as the general was running away at the time, and they stumble forward. All of them stumble forward 3 inches, so we get consistency here. The general does rally, so there's that. During my shooting phase, the Doom Diver kills 4 of those archers, which is just awesome. We don't have any close combat, so we're over to the top of turn 3. Action-packed top of turn 3 here, which we just resolved. The Dryads charged this troll, which was over here at the time, and the tree man charged my Goblin War Boss General, which was over here at the time. We go over to the magic phase. Before that, the treekin did rally, and they reformed to face the Black Orcs. Going over to the magic phase, my opponent tries to cast a regrowth on the archers. He rolls 3 6s, and he heals 2 of those guys, but then kills like 6 of those guys. He rolled the Dimensional Cascade again, and it's the big round template over the unit, and there's a 50-50 chance that the wizard just dies, which he did. Only 2 of those guys are left. They panic, and they're running towards the table edge. Because they're under 25%, he's going to need Snake Eyes to rally that unit, so they're unlikely to rally. But my general's also dead now. We fight the tree man combat. The tree man kills my guy, overruns into this troll, and the Dryads break this troll. They don't get any wounds on him, so he is running. They fail to catch him, but as they're pursuing him, they go into that troll. So we'll fight those 2 combats on my turn. Going over to the bottom of turn 3. We just finished up the top of turn 3. The Savage Orcs go and fail their animosity again, and again they get the will show 'em result, which means I end up pivoting and trying to go towards the treekin, the closest visible unit. Unfortunately, that means I'm also going over my own Fanatic. And yeah, the Fanatic kills 4 Savage Orcs, so kind of brutal. I get to declare a charge then on the treekin, which is not too long of a charge, but I roll Snake Eyes for the charge distance and just stumble forward an inch. I advance the Black Orcs forward there to, deal with these treekin ideally, and fail to rally this troll, who then rolls the 4 for the flee distance, which is unfortunate. He's still fleeing. The Dryads were fighting this troll, which they overran into. During that combat, the Dryads take 3 casualties, but they still win the combat by 1, break my troll, and he gets away, so the Dryads are chasing. The tree man killed that guy and overran, and is kind of posing a threat here to my Doom Diver. And during the shooting phase, so prior to that combat, the Doom Diver just goes off, hitting these treekin and killing one of those treekin, which is a huge deal. So nice job, Doom Diver. Going over to the top of turn 4. We just wrapped up the top of turn 4. The Dryads attempted to charge. This guy is forced to flee, and he goes into that mysterious forest, which ends up being a Abyssal Wood. They redirect onto this guy and catch him over here, so he's dead, and my other troll is very close to the table edge. The tree man completes the charge on the Doom Diver and just devastates them in combat, which is to be expected. He then reforms to potentially try to get back into the fray over here. The treekin on the Black Orcs, and in that combat, the treekin, they put 3 wounds through on the Black Orcs, and I need 6s to make those armor saves, and I roll 3 6s, which is just stellar. I don't even know the odds of that. Very low. And on the stomp, though, they do kill a guy. I end up beating them by 1. I put 2 wounds through, and I go with the great weapons again. And the treekin hold. The archers fail to rally, and they're running towards that table edge. They'll have 1 more chance at rallying. And we'll see if my Savage Orcs can help us out here. So, pretty tight game. Going over to the bottom of turn 4. We just finished up the bottom of turn 4. My troll rallied, which is just incredible. Right there on the table edge. Way to go, guy. And my Savage Orcs attempted to charge the flank of the treekin to help out on that combat. They needed a 7 and they rolled a 5, so these guys just falling up short again. But we go over to that combat. 3 Black Orcs end up getting killed, 2 to the attacks, 1 to the stomp. The Black Orcs do 2 wounds back, and it's a tied combat. But I have the Musician, which I just added for this round. Musician breaks the tie, I win by 1, and I break the Treekin and run him down. So that Black Orc unit is actually going to get moved up 6 inches, and the Treekin are going to be removed. Over to the top of turn 5. We just finished up the top of turn 5. The Dryads charge the Troll. They do 1 wound on the Troll in the combat. The Troll does 2 wounds to the Dryads. Pushed combat, so that thing's going to continue on here. Tree Man, full march move towards the Savage Orcs and Black Orcs. The Archers decide it's time to go over to the pub, and they flee off the table edge there, so they're gone. Over to the bottom of 5. We finish up the bottom of turn 5. The Savage Orcs reformed, and the Black Orcs, utilizing their new position, did a swift reform in a position here, facing off against that Tree Man. The combat against the Troll gets killed by the Dryads. The Dryads just go off and they reform, but they're probably out of this fight, to be honest with you, at this point. Going over to the top of turn 6, coming down to the wire. We finished up the top of turn 6. We figured out it is a draw right now if no more units are removed. So my opponent is baiting me into a charge, so I have to decide if I'm going to go for the win or go just take the draw. But the Tree Man moves up there. The Dryads just hold pat in my deployment zone. And we'll see what I do in the bottom of turn 6. Knowing animosity, I may not even have a choice. Just finished up the bottom of turn 6. The Savage Orcs and Black Orcs both charge the Tree Man, just going for it here. And we go over to combat. And this is kind of an epic combat here. The Savage Orcs go at the same time as the Tree Man. The Tree Man's going after the Black Orcs. So it's a mixed bag here. He has to kill more of the Black Orcs in order to get that unit completely dead. But they don't have any save against the Tree Man's attacks. There are fewer Savage Orcs, but they have a 6-up ward. He decides to go for the Black Orcs. And yeah, it works out for him just fine. The Savage Orcs go at the same time as the Tree Man. And they put 2 wounds on that Tree Man. So he's down to 1 wound left at that point. The Tree Man, I go with the great weapons on the Black Orcs. So the Tree Man attacks before the Black Orcs, and he kills 3 of those guys. So I'm down to 3. Now the Black Orc attacks and the Thunderstomp are going to go at the same time because they both have the always strikes last rule. And the Thunderstomp wipes out the rest of the unit. With those 2 attacks, I put the last wound on the Tree Man. So the Black Orcs are completely killed out. The Tree Man is dead. All that's left are my Savage Orcs and the Dryads. Now, this is something that I've never experienced in all my years of Warhammer Fantasy. Not only is this a draw, those 2 units are exactly the same number of points, 153 points. So as draw as draw can be. Awesome game, just awesome. Draws are kind of a lot of fun when they come down right to the end. So we didn't really speculate as to what would happen for draws. I think we're just both going to get 25 points bonus for the final battle. And I hope you enjoyed this battle. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. Bye for now.